So I just finished the first week of my intern year as a psychiatry resident, and it's been very interesting. It's not what I would have expected. And in some ways it's easier, and in some ways it's a lot harder than I would have expected. But just as amazing, or I would say even more amazing than I would have ever thought, okay? Just to give you guys a lowdown on my hours. And mine is not even the hardest psychiatry residency, and psych is one of the more laid back ones on time. My first day, I got to the hospital at 8 a.m. We had an easier schedule, but I stayed till 7 p.m. that day because I was the only one that took a new patient. Everybody else was follow-up. We had 5 patients to start with. We were basically just thrown into the fire, go talk to the patients, figure out what needs to be done, write the notes, write the orders, get stuff done, okay? So I learned all this on the first day. Today was my first weekend call. I got in at 7. Luckily today was like a training day, so I left a little early at 2 o'clock. 3 o'clock. But I had 9 patients, had to go talk to all of them, write orders for all of them, suggest ideas to the attending. They pick apart what I missed from talking with the patient, or any details that I think that they thought were important that I should have considered, which is, a constant thing. It's a constant learning environment. There's all these things that I didn't even know that I needed to know, okay? So it's scary, but it's also kind of exciting because it means there's so much room for improvement, okay? There's so much more to medicine that I can learn, right? So it makes it very interesting. This week was harder than any surgery rotation tough week that I ever had, right? Just the amount of work, the amount of time that I had to be on my feet. I didn't really have time to eat lunch. We were that busy. Had no time, barely enough time to drink water. And I brought my lunch, and I brought it, and I didn't even have time to eat it. So it's that crazy, right? Main reason is because we're learning how to use the EMR, how the hospital wants us to work, okay? Kind of just throwing us in, being like, this is the protocol. And then as we go, they're like, oh yeah, by the way, this is also the protocol. This is the protocol. You're doing this wrong. You need to do it this way, this way, this way. So we're learning everything on the go, right? Way harder than any rotation I'd ever did in medical school. So one major difference that I've noticed residency compared to medical school is that figuring out the diagnosis, especially in psychiatry, is fairly straightforward. It's not that complicated. The complicated part is being empathetic. Being empathetic to people that can have a hard time communicating, right? So I'm in an involuntary unit with patients with schizophrenia or patients in a manic episode with bipolar disorder, just very intense or very disorganized. Being able to communicate with those kind of people and making them feel heard, but still being efficient with time, getting the information that you need, make them feel like they've gotten everything off their chest, they can tell you everything, so that you can make that connection, so that when you're making medication suggestions, people are more willing, right? Because they like you, because you've listened to them. But also being efficient with time, because you got a lot of patients to go see and a lot of notes to write, like today, 9 patients, 9 notes, okay? So that's another skill. Time management is more important, I think, now, because it's more like a job. It is a job, right? And I think another big thing is, I would say it's equally as a shock from starting medical school from undergrad to medical school as it is going from medical school to residency. I could say that's a pretty legitimate similarity. And in medical school, you're learning, medicine, right? How to study medicine, how to study this, crazy high volume of stuff. Now in residency, we're learning a crazy high volume of stuff, but it's protocol. Okay, it's all about protocol. We have some lectures and things like that, and you're learning, how to dose things as you go. You kind of start realizing what's normal, what labs are normal, or what medications are good initial medications. You start seeing that pattern. But it's like more hospital protocol, patient protocol, and that stuff you really don't learn in medical school. That's what makes it so hard, is that I'm spending all this time at the hospital. I am given this huge responsibility, and it's a huge learning curve, huge. But I gotta say that this feels so real. This is the first time that things have actually felt real. Like, I'm legitimately Dr. Greg. Like, I tell my patients that, like, they call me doctor, all the nurses call me doctor, so that's kind of cool. And this is where I actually feel the title, right? So that's a really cool thing. First time ever, okay? Obviously, yes, because I'm now doctor, but graduation didn't quite feel like a doctor. Now I'm in residency. I'm actually doing the work now. It feels legit, and I'm really excited. I love this whole phase of life, and I'm gonna keep sharing stuff with you guys, hints, as we go forward. You guys, I wish you the best of luck on whatever you're doing, and keep kicking butt.